Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Atano Circus, and today on this episode of Welcome to LittleWarGame, we're going to welcome you to something that's not actually inside LittleWarGame, but is inside everyone who plays it, and those are their four mentalities. So let's load up a replay as something interesting to do in the background between me and Slammer4, and let's go. So, the first of the four mentalities we're going to talk about for a competitive player or someone who's trying to get better at LittleWarGame is learning. Whether you're at 22 of 60 supply, at the 10-minute mark when no one's been attacked yet, and you don't really know what a mage is, or you're a very skilled player but you're trying to understand why you never seem to know what's going on at that opponent's third base, you're experiencing learning. You're taking the small things that you don't know and accumulating knowledge and the mechanical skill to implement the correct decisions together. And doing both of those things increases your learning. It allows you to become much better as a player, improve over time, and just learn how to make the correct decisions more and more often. This will make you better as the player, will make better as a gamer, better as just in general, and extends outside of LittleWarGame itself. So the second attitude that we're going to talk about is almost kind of the opposite of learning, which is despair. This is when you play against someone who sometimes they're much, much better than you, and you don't see a way that they could ever make a mistake that you could capitalize on. Everything they do seems flawless, and that's okay. That's admirable. That's something you can learn from, but despair goes one further when you don't think you can win against this person anymore. When it seems flatly impossible that you have any chance of victory against them, or you have any chance of doing anything against them at all, and so you've quit before you've even started the game. Before you even pick up the mouse or the keyboard or click in for ranked, you have defeated yourself before you see your opponent. Something interesting about despair is it tends to show up in specific circumstances, either because you're going against a specific opponent, which is bad for me, something I do a lot, or if you're going against a specific division, or maybe you always lose the third game, and this third game you're armed up against the dreaded and terrible Fluffy, the rabbit. Yeah, you're still going to lose to Fluffy the rabbit if you're suffering under the second mentality, despair. The third mentality is as far from despair as you can get and is exacerbated by number one, learning, and that is the flow state, or being, if you're an American sports fan, being in the zone. The sense that all the things that are inside of you, the integral thoughts, the instincts as to how the game should be played out, are just naturally presented forward. You just understand not only what the right thing to do is, but all of your experiences coming together. You not only know what the right thing to do is, but how to do the right thing in the best way. You know what you're doing, how you're doing, and there's a seamless transition. Your hands don't even exist. Your thoughts are just being reflected immediately into the game. And that's a wonderful thing to have happen in a natural experience when you are very invested and learning how to become much better at something, and finally it all seems to click. You're in the zone. But the fourth mentality is as far from the zone or the flow state as humanly possible, and that is tilt. This term comes from the pinball community. In pinball tournaments, when people try to rack up high scores, sometimes geometry and trigonometry just aren't on your side. So players who are very skilled at pinball will wrap the underside of the table or tick the table to the side to try and adjust the ball just enough so they can save it. However, if they do this too much in a professional or even in a normal environment, pinball machines have safeguards against that kind of tampering, which is tilt. All of the bumpers go off, the lights shut down, your flippers stop responding, and the heavy metal ball just bounces around and heads down, 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 and eventually it just falls. And that's what tilt is. Tilt is, however, where despair is where you just give up for one reason or a variety of reasons. Tilt is entirely different. It's not giving up, but it's anger. And tilt, just like despair, can be set off by a variety of things. My opponent is dropping me with catapults. Tilt. My opponent is worse than me, or I think is worse than me, and they won 3 games in a row. Tilt. I keep making the same mistake over and over again. Tilt. I woke up today and my hair is 2 shades lighter than I thought it was in reality. Tilt. Blue is my least favorite color, and I got blue today. Tilt. All perceived imbalances. Tilt. Anything can really cause tilt, and it's a drastic negative reduction in your capability to play the game, to play in a fair and sound manner, and to do the things that you have already practiced and improved upon. And the problem with tilt is that it takes a while to go away. Those burning energies of failure and hatred don't just disappear immediately. So if you're experiencing these states, let's talk about what you do. If you're experiencing learning, cool, you're in an optimal environment. If you're despairing, consider either going back to a learning environment or just playing a ton of games against that person. It might not help the feeling of loss go away, but it will help you recognize what you're doing wrong and put you back in a learning state. Flow state. One of the intricacies of flow state is that when you have it, you are able to retain it despite normal things that would put you on tilt or dissuade you from playing optimally. So that's a good one. We don't have to talk about it too much more, but it's really the benefit and result of extreme levels of practice and dedication. And for the fourth one, tilt, just take a break. Your natural instinct after a loss is going to be to want to take that loss back with a 3-game win streak, but it's not going to happen, okay? You're just not in the mental state to do it. So rather than rack up more losses and get yourself even angrier, just step away from the game for a while, do some calisthenics or something that will calm your mind down and allow you to get back to Little War Game in the same force and way that you really want to be. Okay, that's it for now.